Hello, and welcome to another episode of Soap Goes to the Oscars. This is episode 107, and I'm recording on September 6th, 2025. And the movie I watched this time was called Foreign Correspondent, which I watched yesterday, the 5th. And this is still the 1940 Oscars. And this one was available on HBO Max. So, Foreign Correspondent is a 1940 American black and white spy thriller film directed by Alfred Hitchcock, which I didn't know going into this. This is the first Hitchcock movie I've watched in this series. I have seen other Hitchcock movies, but this is the first one in the Oscar stuff that I've been watching. It tells the story of an American reporter based in Britain who tries to expose enemy spies involved in a fictional continent-wide conspiracy in the prelude to World War II. Stars Joel McCrea, and features 19-year-old Lorraine Day, Herbert Marshall, George Sanders, Albert Basserman, and Robert Benchley, along with Edmund Gwenn. Foreign Correspondent was Hitchcock's second Hollywood production after leaving the United Kingdom in 1939. The first was Rebecca. Oh, I didn't know that. That's the winner of this year's Oscars. And had an unusually large number of writers. Robert Benchley, Charles Bennett, Harold Clurman, Joan Harrison, Ben Heck, James Hilton, John Howard Lawson, John Lee Maheen, Richard Maybaum, and Bud Schulberg, with Bennett, Harrison, Hilton, and Benchley the only writers credited in the finished film. It was based on Vincent Sheehan's political memoir, Personal History, 1935. The rights to which were purchased by producer Walter Wanger for $10,000. Walter Wanger has come up before, and it's funny every time. The film was one of two Hitchcock films nominated for the Academy Award for Best Picture in 1940, the other being Rebecca, which went on to win the award. Foreign Correspondent was nominated for 6 Academy Awards. And those awards were Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor, Best Original Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction, and Best Visual Effects. Cinematography by Rudolph Mattei, edited by Dorothy Spencer, music by Alfred Newman, production company Walter Wanger Productions, distributed by United Artists. It was released on August 16th, 1940, with a runtime of 120 minutes. So I didn't really know what to expect from this one. A Foreign Correspondent, I figured it was something to do with a news person or something, and it is, but I wasn't expecting the whole sort of spy thriller aspect of it. And when Hitchcock's name came up at the beginning, I was like, oh, this is going to be very different than I thought. And I would say, and I haven't watched an extensive amount of Hitchcock movies, so I can't really say for sure. From what I've seen, this is not the Hitchcock that I've been used to. But I guess I've seen more sort of the horror type stuff like Psycho and The Birds, and I know he does a lot of thrillers and stuff like that too. I've seen Vertigo. I haven't seen North by Northwest, but I get, but this was still kind of a surprise to me. So, that does make sense now that one actor, George Sanders, is also in Rebecca. So that makes sense. Hitchcock does like to make cameos. So he can be seen when Joel McCrea first spots Van Meer on the street in London. Hitchcock walks past reading a newspaper, which I did notice that. Albert Basserman, who plays Van Meer and who is nominated for supporting actor, was German and did not speak English, so he had to learn all his lines phonetically. Likewise, one supposedly Dutch girl in the film speaks Dutch phonetically, though less convincingly. Hitchcock's eccentric marriage proposal to his wife Alma was written for this film, for the scene when Jones proposes to Carol. One of the sequences in the film that continues to have a strong effect on viewers is the William Cameron Menzies designed mid-ocean crash of the flying boat after it is shot down by a German destroyer. In 1972, in an interview with Dick Cavett, Hitchcock discussed some of the details of how the scene was created. Footage taken from a stunt aircraft diving over the ocean was rear projected on rice paper in front of the cockpit set, while behind the rice paper were 2 chutes connected to large water tanks. The chutes were aimed at the windshield of the cockpit so that water would break through the rice paper at the right moment, simulating the crash of the aircraft into the ocean. However, during the crash sequence, studio lights can briefly be seen. I didn't notice that. It was impressive, the crash. Overall, I gave this 3 stars. It was pretty good overall. The lead actor was Joel McCrea. I keep thinking Joel McHale whenever I see his name. He was very annoying to me at first, but he kind of grew on me by the end of the movie. So He just, I don't know, there was something sort of grating about the character, not necessarily the actor, but the character itself. So it did get better over the course of the movie. So yeah, this was pretty good. I don't think, it is my favorite of the bunch. I gave Philadelphia Story 4. I gave The Great Dictator 5. Kitty Foyle, I gave a 3. That one was very good. The Letter with Betty Davis, I gave a 3. That was also pretty good. So I would put it, yeah, I think it fits in with the 3s on this list. It was pretty decent overall. So I will just leave it there and we'll move on to the next one. We have 2 more, and then the winner for this round, plus a snubbed movie. So I'm hoping to get through at least one, but hopefully 2 more of these this weekend. And then, we can move on to the next year, hopefully soon. That's all I got. We'll see you next time.